Welcome to the Spiritual Science Podcast. Honestly, this is take 2 of it because I just had to have a talk with myself. Like literally, I was getting out of control, and then I literally had to treat myself like a child. I had it when this intrusive thought came into my mind and was like, you sound so stupid. Why are you even doing this? Like, people are going to think this is ridiculous. And I was like, stop right there. We catch that little thought. Literally, it's a thought. That's why they call the girls like that a thought. Probably. Not sure, but makes sense. The dots are connecting. I caught that thought and I tossed her and I said, that is not nice. Just really aggressive with her. Sometimes it takes like a visual reenactment. The crows like it. They think this is funny. I'm glad that I am providing comedic relief through the difficult landscape. What is my mind right now? So I caught that thought and I said, ouch, that hurt. And then I just shut off the camera and I was like, Courtney, what's going on here? What is going on? If this isn't fun, we don't have to do this. Like, this is not something that you have to do. You enjoy doing it. And what came to me was, this is the final shift. I'm looking down, but I should be looking up. So I'm just going to hide the camera and trust that I'm in frame. So not the final shift. I wish it was the final shift. I mean, I don't wish it was the final shift, but I've been shifting a lot and this shift is getting old, like literally. But that being said, I introduced this podcast, the Spiritual Science Podcast, with a real lifetime. Literally, I was scolding the bratty child within myself to tell her that that's not nice and to stop it, quit that out, like be a good girl. Literally, this is how I find reparenting myself, is taking that brat that lives inside me and telling her to shut up because she's not helpful to this beautiful, compassionate, loving, funny, fun adult that is just trying to have a great life. So she needs to like step aside and just go back to where she came from, and I will give her some love once she gets there. Because that's all she probably really wants. Or is it even me? Honestly, I think I healed most parts, and I think the brat is not even like my inner child. I strongly believe it's other projections of people that I have put in myself in situations with where I have taken on their projections as my own belief. And that has convoluted and contorted into my subconscious mind as something that I would think, but we are now clearing that. And with that being said, my love, I'm like all grippy. With that being said, my love, welcome. This long introduction to the Spiritual Science Podcast. I am so grateful to have you here with me today. I started this podcast with the intention to interview Dr. Joe Dispenza when he comes to San Diego in December. So if you could make my dream a reality, and if you find this podcast helpful in any way, if you could like, subscribe, or share, or all three, that would be wonderful, just so, word of mouth can get out and so we can manifest together. And I would just be so grateful for that, because within this energy exchange, I hope to provide to you, I know I'm going to provide to you at least one golden nugget that you can take and implement into your life, if anything. So I think it's a pretty equal energy exchange. And so with that being said, my loves, I was struggling because I did not know I was trying to like mold, craft, plan, articulate, write things down, control the podcast, when the podcast is supposed to be a form of freedom for me. And it's supposed to be an outlet where I can freely express myself, which will then bleed into my dancing, which is like the ultimate goal, is to freely express my body to any song that comes on and just feel comfortable doing so. And so I see this podcast as a way to open up that beautiful throat chakra of mine and work through the energies there, because my neck does get a little stiff when I dance. I'm just kidding. but really that could help. But it's just a beautiful way for me to unblock myself creatively, because I could dance all day by myself, film myself, and I don't post a dang thing. Like, why? Like, so I can just share it with myself, and like when I see my friends and I can show them on my camera roll. Like, that's not the point, Courtney, of all this. So it's also allowing me to unblock myself creatively, to get into the rhythm of posting content in a fun, easy, no pressure way. So I thank you for being there to support me in that. But with that being said, a huge part of my new life from when I shifted from 2020 to who I am now, I can't count. I mean, I can definitely count on more than one hand how many times I've shifted. And all shifting means is you, like, it could be a dramatic shift or it could be like a 1% shift. So what I'm describing for my shifts, they're drastic. Like, me and my best friends were looking at our camera rolls from like 10 years ago. Like, we were just like seeing like what we look like. I forgot what my friends called me. I think they called me like Jennifer or something. Like, I was literally a different person, and I find that so amazing and hysterical, because literally when you shift, your energy changes, and when your energy changes, you take on a new personality. So I find it funny that my old personality was like, looked more like a Jennifer. But yeah, when your energy shifts, your features are also going to shift. So that meaning your face structure, things are going to become more balanced. You're not going to hold as much tension in your body. Certain areas that used to, you know, hold tension, whether it's like in your jaw from clenching, from stress, not breathing. When you allow yourself to shift energetically over time, and I mean, we're constantly going to be shifting on this spiritual journey. When you allow yourself to shift over time, that noise was the floor. It sounded like a fart. Oh, Courtney. Anyways, but when you allow yourself to shift this, I need to get something for my ankles, my poor little ankles. Hold on. Thank you for holding. I just have to put on my socks because I'm not going to be uncomfortable while having this beautiful conversation with my friends. So, where were we? Yeah, shifting. So we were looking through our camera roll, and we were just like identifying like the moments, like kind of like the moments of time where we like saw the drastic shift. And for me, like, oh my God. So I first started dancing when COVID started, like Zumba. And so I did Zumba for like a year or two. I found shuffling after a year of doing Zumba, but I was like, holy shit, that looks crazy. I can't do that. So I'm just going to stick to my meditating and Zumba. So that's why I didn't start shuffling until 2022. And so I've been doing it for 3 years. But back to my story. So I was only dancing at the time, and I was like, you can like tell when I found Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. It's quite remarkable. Like, my eyes are clearer, my face structure looks different. Jennifer was dissolving. And it was crazy because I had a picture that I came across, when was it? It was like a month or two before I lost Reggie, my dog, who was the one who transcended my life into what it is now, just by showing me pure love and me fighting for a life that I wanted to live and loved living. But yeah, that was like I found a picture of him and I a month before he passed. And that was even before I went to a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat. And I tell you this because I was starting to see a shift energetically in myself through that moment in time, that photo, without having to go to a retreat. And while a retreat of Dr. Joe Dispenza's is honestly life-changing, and if I didn't go to it, I 100% know I wouldn't have made the huge like timeline life shift that I made after going to that. So I would say I made 2 shifts just in that amount of time. And then, yeah, my new life started in January 2021. Wait, time is weird. No, January 2022, because I went to Cancun December 2021. So yeah, everything shifted for me starting in January 2022. And those 2 major shifts were kind of like what got me started in spirituality. And I'm only going to go over those 2 shifts with you right now because I don't want to, one, overload you with all this shift. Courtney, you're so funny. I know. But also, I want to inspire you that you can do the same for yourself in a short amount of time. Because that was only, let's just call it like a year or like half of a year, really, of me doing Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations every morning religiously. And honestly, everyone, okay, there's going to be a lot of people out there be like, Courtney, I don't meditate. I didn't either. And that's the point. You're not supposed to be a meditator. Like if I said I wasn't a shuffler and I just stuck to I wasn't a shuffler, I wouldn't be shuffling. But our human potential is greater than we know. And I am speaking to you very sternly right now because I have always whimsically been like, oh, you can do breath work. Well, yes, you can. Oh, you can just go surfing and that's your meditation. You need to shut down all of the external sensory senses, all the senses that are stimulating your mind in order to make the shifts that you want in your life. Think of yourself as a computer shutting down and rebooting. Like you need to do that with your mind daily so that you are able to recalibrate and incorporate these methods that I'm going to share with you over the next few episodes of how to shift. But I just want this to be like your call to action, just starting from scratch. You can make shifts so drastically in like 6 months to a year. And while you think that's long now, trust me, think of, okay, what is it, September? I'm bad at math, so I use my hands. Think of March, earlier this year, maybe April. Okay, that wasn't long ago. You could have already shifted into a whole new like face without a facelift. But for real, and like a whole new life beyond your wildest dreams, and it's only getting better. And I'm saying this romantic story of it because in the shift I'm going through now, there's a lot of shit when you go through shifts, but the end prize is always just, it's worth it. Just know the end is worth it, because me looking back at my old self, I'm like, thank God she just, it was so hard, but she put in the work, and meditating wasn't her thing. She couldn't meditate. She couldn't even sit still for like under a minute. Like anything, you build the muscle. I still don't run. I feel like I'm allergic to running, which is ironic because I do the Running Man, but I just don't like running. So I'm not going to equate it to running. I'll equate it to like, I don't know, getting stronger, getting better at a skill. You have to put in the time and you will become a meditator. And you will hate it at first. Oh, you will hate it. But that is just your body trying to be the mind. And you, like Dr. Joe says, have to tame that animal and say, sit, boo, sit. He doesn't say that, but you have to train it to sit, because the body is not the mind. And so over time, the body will then start to relax. You will start to enjoy meditation. You will start to be like, oh, why didn't I do this earlier? This feels so good. You will start feeling things in your body that you can't explain. Really, you can't articulate in words, like the depths of the emotions and feelings that you can feel within yourself from just closing your eyes and dropping into stillness and feeling the beating of your heart. Like, it sounds so simple, it sounds so woo-woo, but I am starting this podcast coming from a person who was low-key atheist before I started Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. And I was just on the brink of despair and was like, I feel like shit, and I don't want to feel like shit anymore. I used to be happy. What happened? What happened to me? How did I get here? How do I get out of it? And so he was like the last angel that was like, YouTube video, here you go. And then everything he said was just factual based on his research that he has done with UC San Diego and other colleges. He has peer-reviewed research. He does all various types of testing within his meditation retreats that give him the validity of what he is saying as fact, because he truly believes science is going to be the bridge of like religion to get everyone kind of on the same page of like how powerful we are and how magnificent our lives can be if we just put the belief within ourselves and are given the tools and resources to do so. And so he just has a beautiful way of just saying it in science so that people don't get like a repulsion to what he's saying, but it's essentially all things that the spiritual teachers have been teaching for, you know, who knows how long. It could be hundreds, thousands, millions, we really don't know. But what all the spiritual masters have been saying, he has finally decoded it in a way to relate to the public in science so that people like me can get interested, go to a retreat, have a mystical experience and be like, what the heck was that? Come back looking completely different, eyes white, bright, smile just for living life and wanting to meditate every day after that. So with that being said, my loves, I just want you to make a 1% shift today. So what is one thing that you can do, whether it's when you wake up tomorrow, whether it's just finding a peaceful spot in your room, peaceful spot outside? I want you just to dedicate the first 10 minutes of your morning tomorrow to yourself before you dedicate it to responding to anyone else's emails, text messages, Instagram, like anything. If you can pour those first 10 minutes into yourself, I guarantee you that you are already making that shift into your new reality and making that shift into the person that you know that you can be. And in the following episodes, I'm going to walk you through the shifting process. It's basically, there's a lot of notes that I have here, so I might break it down into like a nerd like format so I can structure it properly for you guys. But I'm gonna leave you with this. So when you dedicate those 10 minutes in the morning tomorrow to yourself, because you are so loved and you deserve at least the first 10 minutes of your morning to be in bliss and stillness and just find the feelings and set the intention for what you want to feel in your day, I want you to, so this is, if you could do this for me, I would love you so much, because I just want you to feel good and I know this could help, okay? And if I could just feed you all this information and then you don't go ahead and do it, then you're not putting it into action and then you get nowhere. So then you're just getting all this information and no change is happening. So the time before the next podcast comes out and we go over week 1 of shifting, I want you to do these few things for me. So first thing is make a promise to me. Your first 10 minutes tomorrow, even if you have to wake up 10 minutes early, are going to be dedicated to whether it's listening to like handpan high vibrational music, whether it's going outside and just sitting like in the basking in the sunlight, whether it's whatever you find nurturing to your soul, whether it's just like dance into a song, like, hey, that's what got me started, so that works too. Whatever is going to get you into a vibration where you pour into yourself and you're like, okay, I feel good. Now, whatever the world brings at me, I at least am up here instead of starting from down here. Like, oh God, not another day. Got to take on this crap. You're going to start a little bit higher than you normally would. So that's what you're going to do. First 10 minutes dedicated to yourself. And if you want to get started with Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations, it's called, I would highly recommend his morning meditation. It's like 25 minutes, and you can just Google it on YouTube. If I find one, I'll link it in the description for you. So once you do that, first 10 minutes, you are going to then come across a feeling that you would like to feel, but then a feeling that is blocking you from feeling that. So two things total. So what I mean by this is, I am going to give you an example. Okay. So I have been doing a lot of like shifting my thoughts, because thoughts are frequency, vibration, energy, and that is all coded into the next few weeks of class that I'm gonna run you through for shifting. But this is just kind of getting like your feet wet to get your mind thinking. So for example, I mean, I wrote down a ton. Where were they? Let's see. I mean, this is crazy. So that's when you really get into the minutia of shifting. So basically the old way of thinking into the new way of thinking. So thoughts are the thing that happened before a feeling. So you're gonna think something and you're gonna be like, this is too hard. Okay, so you're gonna feel discouraged, right? Because first comes the thought and then the feeling, because a feeling can't come without a thought. If you were just thinking air, you would just feel air. So there's the thought that you want to change. So what thought keeps repetitively going into your mind and you're like, ugh, shoe fly, don't bother me, that's annoying. Mine is, I mean, there's so many, but mine is start tomorrow. And then if we're going to get crazy for number 2, it's you look stupid. I know it's not nice, but you look so dumb. And then I watch myself, I'm like, no, you don't. So where's this thought coming from? Fucking get out of here. But so we're going to go with, instead of that one, this is uncomfortable. So this is uncomfortable, okay? So when I feel uncomfortable, the feeling of like fear is basically what I feel. I feel fear when I'm thinking this is uncomfortable, or I don't want to do this, or this is too hard. And so the opposite of that is I want to feel abundant. So the opposite feeling, or the opposite way of thinking of, well, this is a good quote, comfort in the discomfort. So when I say this is uncomfortable, I say I'm going to find comfort in the discomfort, because that is what an abundant person does. And I will probably make like a little worksheet for you, because this is getting very long and very convoluted, but so important in like before the next video that comes out, to like kind of get your mind thinking about this. Because I listen to, and this podcast is already getting very long because I could talk for days, weeks, years, months, no, for a long time about this, because there's so much detail into it, but I'm trying to break it apart to make it very simple and easy to follow. So basically, I was listening to a podcast, Bashar Channeling, who channels a alien, I'll just say, because I feel like a lot of you people are new here, so it's just going to sound weird. He channels someone named Bashar from a different planet. And so basically, which sounds crazy until you get into energy and you just like are like, okay, if I'm just like not looking at him or listening to the words, how does this make me feel inside? I'm like, calm. What he's saying sounds true to me, because it's a great way to like test your discernment on like what's real and what's not, which we will get to one day in the podcast. It's very important on your spiritual journey, discernment. But okay, so let's do this. I'm just like very excited about this topic. So I just want to thank you for getting me out of my head, because teaching honestly just unleashes the creativity out of me, out of my throat chakra, because I have so much knowledge and so much like work that I've done on myself that it needs to be shared with you all. So yes, so basically I have been feeling a lot of doubt. So I came across this video and he was like, okay, I want you to say these statements. I feel, and then he goes blank, so I'm gonna put doubt. And I feel blank, whatever feeling, doubt, because I choose to. And I choose to because I believe it serves me to feel doubt. And it's just like, oh shit, you're closing the circuit, because it's like, I feel fear. And I feel fear because I choose to. And I choose to because I believe it serves me to be in fear. And then it just kind of gets you thinking, because when you just say, I'm scared, or I don't want to do this, it's like new or uncomfortable, it doesn't really close the loop into the whole full circuit of being, okay, I acknowledge that I feel this, but I'm choosing to feel this because I believe it serves me. And then it kind of like wakes you up and you're like, oh, it's not serving me. So that's another fun little thing that I will probably put in a quick little worksheet for you guys in the description if I end up doing so. But I love you so much, and I can't wait to shift more together. And yeah, I just know that we are gonna be a part of great things. And I love you so much. Thank you for being here, and until next time, bye.